Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Stefan, for the opportunity to present mySearchBot. My name is Twan Vollebregt, and I'd like to start today by focusing your attention on the user experience of marketplaces such as these. This is just a sample. I think when you think back to the last time that you did some research and tried to find a car or a house or a job, you probably felt yourself going through a process similar to this. It involved a lot of confusion, a lot of time wasting, a lot of just trying to figure out what on earth is going on. And I think one of the key drivers behind this is that a lot of marketplaces, even today, have not evolved much beyond essentially a filter-based UI sitting on top of a database. The user is actually having to do all the hard work in the marketplace. So what is the problem here? Well, essentially, if you know exactly what you're looking for, no problem. I mean, you can very easily find what you're looking for if you've got the right mechanisms. But if you don't, if you're exploring, if you're discovering, if you're just trying to understand what it is you're actually looking for, life is quite tough on those mechanisms. So the internet has opened up a huge amount of data, but it becomes information overload. There's very little decision support there for you. And so what's in fact even worse is the dominant industry logic of these marketplaces is to actually serve the advertiser and the seller and the partners, like insurance partners, for example. So the incentivization is all completely wrong. They're serving you with results that are actually not in your benefit. They're in benefit of those partners. So the solution here, well, mySearchBot is being developed in order to create an AI-based personal agent specifically for marketplaces. So this agent is actually assisting you through a process of discovery and support in a 100% user-focused way. So very much focused from the user perspective, not those other advertisers, sellers, partners, etc. How do we do this? Well, we combine search engine, chatbot technology, recommendation technology together. But I think those three by themselves don't really necessarily add up to a great user experience. We need to embed them in a conversational interface, a new generation conversational interface. So the user experience with mySearchBot is actually very much more like the human agent. It is actually, instead of looking at a search bar or a set of filters, is actually interacting with this conversational canvas across. It's almost like sitting across the table from an agent. You've got a two-way interaction. It's interactive. It's actually using natural language. It's a multi-step process. Very, very different from the classic, here's a set of filters, choose the appropriate ones. Transparency is very important because you don't want to be sitting across the table from a black box and not understanding what it's trying to tell you. And privacy is very important because we expect users to provide a lot of information and also personal information to help the agent guide where the user is trying to go. The opportunity here, I believe, is huge. In order to become the marketplace for high-impact products. High-impact products are things like cars, houses, jobs, major travel. These are decisions that people spend significant amounts of time exploring, discovering before finally making a decision. And those are the classic examples where this kind of technology is going to work very well. Eventually, we'll graduate towards lower-impact products as well as more everyday search. Very much a global product intention, not at all a single country focus or anything like that. The business model here, very briefly, we've only got a few minutes to cover the whole presentation, but essentially existing marketplaces very much driven by marketing to create network effects. mySearchBot's focused on matching the buyer need for that experience, that discovery and search experience. Monetization is through both buyer and seller fees, not just simply on the seller side. Very quickly on progress, we've been working on this since October. There's a 4-person team working on this, developing some very interesting and exciting results. And finally, what is the ask here? Well, we're doing a startup pitch, so there has to be an ask. 400,000 in seed capital in order to give us a 9-month runway to get this product from the exciting beginning that it is now into a launch phase, support some of the marketing and branding development that's required, and move on to the launch towards the end of this year. So that was my presentation. Thank you very much. Anyone who's interested to join the journey in whichever form, please feel free to contact me at my email address or speak to me afterwards.
mySearchBot feedback. Yeah.
Hello, thank you. It's interesting description of basically a chatbot assistant with a progressive user interface, but it would probably make a kind of a more concrete for investors and people trying to understand this vision if you had some mock-up of your kind of a final vision of how this interaction goes in some simple case.
Yes, so I totally agree with that. It would be fantastic to have that. I think two things. One is the experience. The experience is something that is going to take more than the 5-minute presentation would allow. First of all, and second of all, I think just at the moment we're still at a stage where we're a little bit under the cover and happy to talk concept, particularly for those who want to speak further offline, but not necessarily wanting to put the actual demo on screen. But I think the first one in this sort of pitch presentation would be quite tricky to get that feeling of how that really works in a 30-second demo.
Hello. I think it's a great idea. I have two questions actually. Usually to use AI you need lots of data volumes, and I think if you're picking to buy a house, you have very less data, and you also have how do you know which are the preference of a person? And how do you filter which house is better to present or not? That's my first question. And then the second question is, how do you present your end client which information he didn't get? Because then he might just walk around the streets and find a house. Hey, that would be my perfect house. Why this thing didn't show it to me? So that's two questions. Thanks.
I think those are perfect questions because they really illustrate the difference between what has been done today, particularly in recommendation engine world, compared to what we are doing here. And I've put the slide back up because notice the word conversational in front of recommendation engine. Your expectation of this kind of process is that it is very much a one-shot recommendation based on the classic collaborative recommendation. So large amounts of data about what lots of people have expressed in likes or in comments or whatever, applying to your little data piece. What we're actually using is a different type of recommendation engine approach, which is called conversational, case-based, knowledge-based. I think a number of these words will trigger people. So this is all about interacting with you, the user. It's about asking you questions and not simply about a one-shot, let me quickly recommend something to you and then stop. And then it's up to you to try and figure out if you want to achieve the next cycle in some way. So we're asking questions, we're developing a preference structure of what it is you're looking for, and we're deliberately not trying to guide you as quickly as possible to an answer, but we're actually letting you explore. So we're guiding you in an exploratory process of actually learning about what it is you're looking for, rather than simply trying as quickly as possible to find the answer. So it's a bit like an optimization process as well, with lots of multiple optimums everywhere, and you're trying to explore them all with the user to help define their preferences. But the recommendation engine conversational piece is important. It's a multi-step process of exploring preferences.
Yes, originally it was a bit unclear for me what is the final thing you're offering. Now with your last explanation it become clearer. So basically you're offering a kind of a search panel, something that